What up, Dom Mafia? Welcome to another edition of the Dom Mafia Report. And in today's episode, we are about to be looking at 8 potential trade targets that the Buffalo Bills can make before the trade deadline. And it's starting right now. Once again, Don Mafia, welcome to another Don Mafia Report. By the way, and y'all like this new angle? Now I know the past couple of videos it looked like I had scoliosis, terrible posture, but it wasn't just me. It was just the angle into which I was filming my videos. I live in a one-bedroom apartment and it's very tough for me to find space to give you the most attractive angle possible. But I've innovated, and here we are. The Buffalo Bills are 5-1, ladies and gentlemen. And for the first time in a long time, we are actually performing at a very, very high level, for the most part. And with that being said, rumors of the Bills making a move before the trade deadline are circulating more than ever. And this morning I was scrolling through some Bills news and I found this article by Bills Wire which highlighted 8 potential targets that the Bills should look at right before the trade deadline approaches. So I thought that we would run through these guys together and then I would share my opinion with you of who I really think would be a fantastic target for the Buffalo Bills. First and foremost, we have AJ Green, the big wide receiver from the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, at this point, the Cincinnati Bengals really don't have much to lose. They're not doing too hot this season, and while they're suggesting that AJ Green is not on the trade block, I think if the price is right, they're gonna send him off somewhere. Now, this article by Bills Wire is suggesting that if we were to make a move for AJ Green, then this would truly be Josh Allen's #1 receiver, that guy that would make him look good and maybe be a solution to Josh's struggles with hitting the deep pass. Now, I'm not saying that I don't agree with that. I really do. But I think that there are a couple of problems when it comes to making a move for AJ Green before the deadline. Number one, this guy is injury prone. Dude man cannot stay healthy for the life of him. Number two, he's gonna be expensive, very expensive. Minimum 2nd round pick. And by the time that his contract runs up, he's gonna be super pricey at the end of the day as well. But frankly, I might be the only Bills fan out there that truly believes that we do not need a wide receiver. In my opinion, I think the answer lies within our current roster already, and that is Robert Foster. Why he hasn't been utilized this season, I absolutely have no idea. But if we were to miraculously put him back into the game plan, I think John Brown has established himself as our #1. I think Cole Beasley has been widely underutilized. We have wide receiver talent on the roster already, and I don't think that it's worth it to dump off precious draft capital for somebody who can't stay healthy and for somebody that's gonna cost us a lot of money. And so next in the article, they suggested O.J. Howard, which this one in particular really caught me by surprise, especially since, in my subjective opinion, I think that our tight end room is very, very talented, especially once you account for Croft, Knox, and Sweeney. I was sort of surprised in why somebody would suggest us getting O.J. Howard, but then I started doing a bit more research. The dude is an absolute stud. He is a game changer when it comes to NFL play. Problem is, he is being severely underutilized in Tampa Bay. Now, maybe it has to do with the fact that Jameis Winston is having a god-awful year, but regardless, I was looking at his stats the other day, and it looks like that he's only had 13 catches for 176 yards, and he hasn't even recorded a touchdown. So the dude is definitely being underutilized. While there hasn't been reports that he will be traded, I mean, being a professional athlete, I would be pissed off. I mean, I would want the ball, especially the struggles that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been demonstrating so far this year. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. But as far as Bills' needs are concerned, I think O.J. Howard, while he's very talented and while I think that he could be a game changer for us, I just think there are so many holes within our team that need to be addressed right before we start looking for another tight end. I honestly think that Croft and Dawson Knox and Sweeney are completely fine. And the next man on this list was Melvin Gordon. Funny story. One late September evening, I got blackout drunk, and then I posted on the Bills Mafia page on Facebook, quoting, "You heard it here first. Melvin Gordon will be traded to the Buffalo Bills for Shaq Lawson and a third-round pick." As I'm sure you most likely realized, that didn't come true, and I was the laughing stock of that specific Buffalo Bills page. But let's put it this way, Bills Wire seems to be on the exact same page as me. They think that it is a possibility that Melvin Gordon might come to the Buffalo Bills. Now, Melvin Gordon is probably notorious for this season for having the most irrelevant holdout in all of NFL history. Legitimately, nobody cared. But in his defense, nobody cares about football in Los Angeles, especially the Los Angeles Chargers, which is wild to me because the Chargers are normally a really good team, but just no one gives a f***. With his holdout, he comes back, and most of us thought that he would make a direct impact once he got back to the Chargers, but it was a problem because Eckler just decided to go off and have a hell of a season. So Melvin Gordon's role within the Los Angeles Chargers is now very questionable. So where would he fit in with the Buffalo Bills? You put in Melvin Gordon, it definitely wouldn't hurt our team, trust me. It would not hurt our team, but it is going to take away snaps from Frank and Devin Singletary. Now, as far as a future move is concerned, this would probably be a good idea because having a 26-year-old in Melvin Gordon and then having Devin Singletary, who is a damn rookie, they could really cement our running back core for years and years to come and be a incredible tandem. The issue is Melvin is going to be very, very expensive moving forward. I mean, if I had to guess, I could see a first-round pick, or I could see at the very minimum a second-round pick. And I'm not sure that Brandon Beane thinks that there are holes within our running back room right now where it needs to be filled with some type of elite talent by Melvin Gordon. And so, but right at this time, I don't think that we need a running back, but by all means, if Melvin Gordon is available during free agency during one offseason, 130%, who wouldn't want to see that tandem? But as of right now, I just don't think that we need Melvin Gordon. Very next on the list is Devante Parker. Now, I understand that he was the wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins last week that Trey White completely shut down. Now, don't take that away from the man's talent. Not every receiver has to go against Trey White every week. But he's a 6'3", very, very talented young wide receiver of the Miami Dolphins. Now, I don't foresee Miami trading him away to a division rival. I really don't. But then again, it's sort of been a theme so far this year where the AFC East just doesn't care. If they don't see a playoff run, then they're just having a fire sale of whoever the hell is willing to pay for them. But like I said, very, very similar situation to AJ Green. I don't think that the Bills need a wide receiver. I mean, I would be okay, I guess, with Parker, but at the end of the day, I just don't foresee it being worth our time. Next is Yannick Ngakoue. Yannick Ngakoue. Yannick Ngakoue. I have no idea how to pronounce this guy's name, but one thing I do know is that this man is a very, very, very talented defensive end. Now, we all know that the Buffalo Bills have an amazing secondary, an amazing red zone defense, but the one area that we struggle is the pass rush. We have very limited sacks so far this year, and while Ed Oliver is showing promise, especially with pressure on the line, we're just not, having that X factor. Not somebody that a quarterback needs to be consistently looking over his shoulder, wondering when he's going to be pile driven and sacked to the oblivion. And this man right here from the Jacksonville Jaguars could be our answer. Out of this entire list, this is the #1 guy that I would be absolutely okay with trading for. Very, very talented. I mean, the Jags already shipped off Jalen Ramsey. While this guy is very talented, historically, he only has about 2 sacks so far this year, so I think that Jacksonville would be fine with stocking up some draft picks and rebuilding their defense. I like Yannick a lot, and I think, in my personal opinion, this is my #1 pick off of this Bills Wire list. Next on the list is Vic Beasley. He is coming from the Atlanta Falcons. And while he was once a part of a very, very good defense of the Atlanta Falcons that ended up totally faltering against the New England Patriots that one year in the Super Bowl, he's still, you know, very talented and still has a very high upside. The man's 27, and back in the day, he was a very promising defensive end. This year, he only has 1.5 sacks on the season, which is very uncharacteristic of him. But overall, the Atlanta Falcons defense is just struggling entirely. So I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta would put him on the market to stack up on some draft picks, because it's looking like that they need to sort of start from scratch at this point. I like Vic Beasley, I really do. The number one reason why I would be okay with it, would not be disappointed in this, is the fact that Vic Beasley, he would be very, very cheap. He's on his contract here right now. So if we were to make a trade for him, then we would only be responsible for his base salary, and say that it didn't work out, say that he didn't make the impact that we wanted to, then we can just cut him by the end of the year, or we can just release him by the end of next offseason. So I mean, Vic Beasley would be a great upside pick in my opinion. I'm still hovering more toward Yannick. Would love Yannick, would be super excited about Yannick, but if we were to get Vic Beasley, I think it has a lot of upside, and worst case scenario, if he doesn't perform, then we can just shoo him off. And so next on the list is Carlos Dunlap. He is also another defensive end from the Cincinnati Bengals. Like Vic Beasley, he's not seeing the same production that he has seen in past years. Also like Vic Beasley, he would be very, very cheap. Very cheap. He's on his contract year, and same thing with Vic Beasley. If he doesn't perform, then we can release him at the end of the offseason. Dunlap has been pretty good, but as we all know, the Cincinnati Bengals have been struggling in all facets of the game this year. So I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati were to dump this guy off. Like I've said, the past two analyses, Yannick is still my number one guy. Say that him and Vic Beasley don't fall to us, then I would be 100% down with Carlos as well, just because of the pure upside that he already has. Last but not least, we have another wide receiver. You guys are just really pushing this wide receiver. Marvin Jones. He's the gentleman that put up like 50 points on fantasy last week. Amazing. It was bad because I had him on my bench. I think. For some reason, this article is suggesting he would be on the trade block from Detroit, especially after a game like he just had. I mean, he's second to Kenny Golladay, and fitting within the Bills' scheme, he could be a number 2 receiver. He really could be. One more weapon for Josh Allen to throw to. Then, once you account for that, he would be very affordable. And looks like he's only owed $6.2 million from this year and the following year, so overall, he would be a very affordable option. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, I do not think that we need a wide receiver. I really don't. I think we already have the talent in the room. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I just don't think that this would be a smart option. I don't think that this would be worth, you know, shuffling off very valuable draft picks as we build our team for future success. And seriously, guys, as exciting it is to look over these draft theories, what if this receiver was on our team, or what if this defensive end was on our team, I realistically don't think that we need to make any moves. I mean, if we make any move whatsoever, it has to be some type of linebacker depth. I mean, if we didn't realize how weak we were in linebacker depth once Matt Milano and his backup were out this past game against Miami, then I'm not sure what you've been watching. I mean, we have a very stout depth within our team overall, except for in linebacker. So, I mean, I would be okay with picking up maybe a linebacker that, you know, shows some promise, like maybe like a first or second year that's not quite at Milano's level, but in case Milano ends up hurting his hamstring again, then we can have somebody that's competent and could stop
the Miami Dolphins rush attack.
That's really my thing. I wouldn't be upset if we just waited until free agency next offseason before we made another move and just focused on the draft. I really wouldn't, but I still thought that we should go through this article together and sort of talk it out. Guys, thank you for tuning in to yet another edition of the Don Mafia Report. I'm having a very exciting collab with #sports. That video is going to be dropping tomorrow. I handled the offensive side preview of the Bills and Eagles, and then Hashtag Sports handled the defensive preview. I will be in both videos, so make sure you go over to the Hashtag Sports YouTube channel, subscribe, and don't miss that video. If you want to support the channel, go to my Patreon. It is www.patreon.com/Dan Mitchell. This is how this channel stays alive. And above all else, let's go Buffalo.